Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon, and today we're going to be coaching a Grandmaster Amumu player. So if you're interested in learning how to play jungle tanks, things that need to be a little less efficient, where some of the more valuable things are actually going to be understanding your lanes, scrolling to your lanes, understanding when to engage and why, rather than just purely focusing on efficiency, which is a lot of times what we really do talk about. But also I do talk about how important efficiency still can be in the jungle role. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely stick around for the video. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy the video. Coaching's $25 an hour to get coached by a rank 1 player like myself. Just DM me on Discord, Talon1169, or through the link in the description to my Discord server below, and I'll see you later. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I played like, a couple years back a lot, and then because of work, I took like 2 years off, and then before that, it was like Diamond 1 was my peak, and then my friend, he's like the whole reason I play this game, just because I talked to him. He sent me a couple links to your videos. I started watching them, and then I was like, some more things clicked, and I was able to win a lot more matches, and kind of when I came back in the game, I was able to like clear through Diamond pretty quickly. So yeah, like one of the biggest problems I'm having right now as a jungler is kind of knowing when to like if I am, farming my camps, like say my blue side's up and my top it's either backed or dead, and I'm like halfway through doing my blue buff, and should I like go defend the turret? And what happens is, I'll start to go, but then their enemy top laner will back, or if I stay, then they'll stay and like take turrets. And it's kind of tough for me to figure out, what's the best I could do. So I'm like still farming efficiently and getting my my camps to respawn quicker.
Yeah, and we'll see if there's like a situation that kind of shows that, or like pointed out if you have like questions about specific things. Efficiency is a very common thing that we talk about. So we'll see like throughout the replays what we see. And as we go through the coaching, I'll mostly just be pointing out like most of the small details as well, and then we'll write notes about the more like bigger picture things that are more able to be generalized to a lot of games. Like initial thing, I would rather control word my red buff, for example, rather than regular word. It's a pretty small thing. It's not a huge deal. Control word just reveals if the enemy does vision or whatever, like where you worded. And yes, the enemy will know that it's worded, but a lot of times it deters them from going on it anyways, and they spend more time clearing your word. It gives you more information. So just slightly better. It's not a huge thing, but also just lasts forever until you use your sweeper, which is nice. But yeah.
Yeah, I think I used to do that, and I think this was more of an issue at lower ranks because and it became like maybe a bad habit, because what would happen is, the enemy jungler would clear the ward and they would stay and just take it, and I wouldn't be able to know, and none of the team would react or anything like that. I think at higher ranks they will like clear the ward and leave because they know they've been found.
Yeah, and if they do clear the word and take it, then they're there, unless you're really, really unaware. Like, you should be paying attention to your map. And if you see your control word's gone, control words last forever, unless you use a sweeper or a ward. Like, they last until you use something else. So
no,
yeah, what's up?
What I'm saying is they'll clear the ward, so I no longer have vision of them,
so you
and
can't
then I
tell
don't
if they
know.
take it. You mean that's what you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Or if they left. That's
Gotcha.
the only thing. And
it doesn't really matter because you're gonna go that way anyway. So like, let's say you do get invaded, you have one of two options. Either say you wanna like you're there invading, and so they waste a lot of time, and so you could just go straight to their red side. The time where you would go straight to their red side would be if you had prio already. So you know what prio is? Making sure.
Or no? Well, I know what it means with regard to lane, but not, I guess, with regards to
if you have prio, I'm referring to your lane. So I'm saying if your top laner, your mid laner have prio, that means there's no such thing as jungle prio. It's the lane prio.
Okay.
If they do, so if they have prio, then you can go invade because you have stronger laners. They'll help you if you need. Most likely, sometimes they don't because ranked, but ideally they would. And so you would go there. And then if you don't have prio, then you just would go to your red side, and you just either your red buff's there and you get it, or your red buff's not there, you take all your other camps. It doesn't matter. Like, you don't need that red buff. Obviously, it's nice, but all that means is now you get the luxury of ganking more. Because if someone takes your red camp, it takes them way longer than to go back to their blue, then to their red, and they're wasting a lot of time. So even though they get a farm advantage, you're a Mumu. Like, it's not the end of the world. You're playing a tank like that. You just go and you spend more time in a lane. Again, obviously, ideally, we get the red, but yeah. So it doesn't really matter. And yeah, I mean, even if you did a yellow ward, like a lot of times they'd be sweeping anyways, and a lot of times it wouldn't even get vision of the red buff itself unless they kited it literally into the bush, because of where it's placed. So That make
Got it.
sense?
Yeah, yeah,
Cool,
absolutely.
cool. And then, yeah, going back to this situation, there's a couple things I want to talk about here as well. So the first thing is we need to scroll our map better. You didn't look
Hmm.
here, like they're fighting, right? We need information
Hmm.
on what's going on in this fight. We need to know, did Lulu use polymorph? Did Zaya root? You know, did she do these things? Did they flash? Did they ghost? Did they whatever? You need to know what they
Okay.
have because you didn't know, for
Okay.
example, that they didn't heal yet. So then they heal, they get the movement speed, they run away from you. You don't have specific things. Because let's say you saw Zaya flash, then you would Q
Okay.
flash onto her instead of
Okay.
just actually I don't even play a movement much. Can you Q flash or do you have to flash first? Do you know?
Yeah.
You can Q flash. Okay.
Yeah, you can keep flash. I usually, I don't know. It usually happens, hit them both pretty quickly. I don't know if which one I hit first, to be honest with
Okay.
you. But yeah, you can keep flash.
So yeah, so you would Q flash if like you know she doesn't have flash, but obviously you're not going to do it if she has flash because then she'll just flash away right after. And so we need more information, especially as a jungler who wants to play around lanes. So getting that additional information, as you kind of said, your problem was like, do I get off my camp? Do I not get off my camp? Do I keep clearing it? Well, if you have more information, then you know, if the flash is gone, if these things are gone, then yes, I'm going to go. If they have these things up, then I'm just going to farm my camp and go after because what else would I really, do with my time? So that's kind of the first thing here. And then I think that's all we'll see. But yeah, like in terms of your gameplay here, you're looking for something, you don't end up finding it. Again, you could have probably tried to flash onto the the Lulu, but I don't mind. And then here as well, this is where it comes down to planning, spell tracking, and actually like understanding what we want to do. So you miss your 2 Qs, that's fine. We're gonna miss spells sometimes. Yeah. But then you continue walking forward as though your champion is not useless, right? You miss both your Qs
Yeah.
and you don't have ultimate, your champion doesn't do anything, and you continue to walk forward. Even if Lee Sin wasn't here, you wouldn't do anything. Like you would just be taking more damage from the Lulu and Zaya and giving her lethal tempo stacks, so then she can, pretty much just 2v3. She could 2v3 you guys. So we need to be like, yeah, we missed our spells. Now I have no way. We just got to get out right away. They have the Zaya E, etc. There's no real way to live. And then as well, keeping track of spells. So, okay, Lee Sin Q's on you. What's Lee Sin going to do? He's going to click his Q again, right? I have flash. What can I do? I can flash him under my turret. So you could have flashed him under your turret right now here. You know what I mean? But instead, you wait until it lands on you, and then you flash after. If you flash him under his turret, all of a sudden he has to flash out, or he gets stunned by your teammate and dies, right? So
Yeah.
basically main issues for you, again, the control word thing is a small thing. The major things you need to know are you need to be scrolling your map better in order to gain additional information, which is going to help solve that initial problem you mentioned. And then you also need specific spell tracking, like understanding his Q, understanding, okay, I don't have my Q, now I have no way to go in, making specific plans based around enemy actual spells and everything like that. So
Yeah, I think so I don't actually scroll my map at all right now. I don't know how I got to where I am without doing it because people were like, this is like something really important. But I feel like whenever I do it, I don't know, it just kind of messes me up. So I need to practice that. I'm just not sure. Maybe I should just do it in PvP or a Smurf or something like that.
no, I don't do it in PvP. So I mean, you can. I'm not telling you what to do. You do whatever the fuck you want, But but generally speaking, the way that I'll approach improvement is I'll choose 1 or 2 specific things to improve it at a time. Obviously, for you, this will be the things we talk about within the session. But in general, even if you just like, oh, you see my video, or you see someone, you're like, oh, this is this one thing I want to work on. The only difference is you do everything you would have done in the game normally. You play normally, so it's not going to like make you lose more. You just think about that one thing. So as you're clearing, just think about, okay, I want to scroll my map every 10 seconds to look at the lanes I'm going to gank. You don't really need that much information on top if you start blue because you're going bot. So like you can scroll there if you want to maybe see if they flash, but that's that's just in my peripheral vision. If I see a Yasuo all of a sudden move across the map, that means he flashed, right? Like you can tell from the icon. Whereas the other things, we need more specific information. We need to know, the 10-second E cooldown. I don't know the exact E cooldown of that E, but roughly 10-second cooldown. We need to know if that's used immediately. Like we need that information right away. So that's when we're scrolling our map. And yeah, you just build the habit just by going into 5 straight games, and the only thing you think about for your first 3-4 minutes is scrolling your map. And then then you maybe find something else to work on in the mid game, and then a different thing to work on in the late game. And you just think about those things, and you can do that in regular ranked. You're still going to be playing at a very similar level. It's not going to make your level go down a ton, and you're not going to like lose way more games off it or anything.
Okay.
And you should smite this to upgrade your smite. I don't know why we didn't, but yeah.
Not sure why I didn't either.
Doesn't really matter. I mean, autopilot things happen, for various reasons. But yeah, sitting on 2 smites means that you're not building your next smite up, so it's also You're kind of annoying me not using the smite. There we go.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm
You
not sure
probably
what
were
was
just not
going
paying
on there.
attention. I mean, that happens sometimes. And then, so
Yeah.
once again, so this is the same thing. It's good. And again, I am very repetitive with my coaching. I'm not going to tell you 48 different things. I'm going to tell you the same 5 to 10 things to work on. And we see once again, you have 0 information here, and yet you decide to go and skip your camp. So even from the information I have on my map, I have a Syndra under her turret, like she's barely, up, and a full health Vex. Both these people are roughly full health. And you decide to leave your camp, not get your camp, and then go do this. This has a very low likelihood of being a kill, of you having any impact here. You also don't have your flash, additional, slight thing. So if you have no specific reason to do something and you have camps up, then do your camps. You have to be able to articulate a specific reason to yourself as to why you want to do something different, because you didn't know Lee Sin's here. You couldn't have predicted this. And even though you see him, I'm guessing nothing happens, right? We still just wasted a bunch of time, and a majority of time that's going to be the case. So unless we're thinking, okay, this person has no flash, I have my flash, I can ult onto him, he guaranteed dies, I'm going to go do that. If you can't say something like that, or you're like, okay, this jungle's not here for whatever, if you can't do that, then just farm your camps, and then the time where you can waste your time is once you don't have camps up. Because if you don't have camps up, then sure, we can go and sit and hover for a random gank because we don't have anything else to do. But we shouldn't be doing that while we have camps up.
Understood. Sense.
And so this different thing here, right? We're in a very different situation. Now we have 2 people who are very low. Again, not scrolling maps, we don't have as much information, but we still see everyone's super low here. This is the time where it makes complete sense to skip a camp. Because we see mid rotating, we see the enemy going and fighting. Like this is when, of course, and you're going to skip your camp. It's pretty obvious here. But once again, is then spell usage. Like, there isn't a plan here. You're just sitting here hovering, like, and I find a lot of people do this. I do this. When I try to hold a skill shot for this period of time, I end up feeling like I have to use it rather than just putting it back. Like that happens to me too. And so realistically, you don't actually need to use it until you like see this guy. And again, your plan should be, okay, I want to go lock the guy under the turret who's diving by team. So you should just be going and looking for this Vex. Instead, I don't know if you're trying to hit him midair, which would have been sick if you did that. But like, yeah,
I hit stuff like that. I hit stuff like that sometimes. So sometimes I just let it go, just to let it happen.
And I respect it. But then if we think about it, here as well, we went in after 2 teammates are dead into someone up a level on us, full health with his ult reset, when 2 people are coming as well, and our mid laner's not rotating. Of course, this is not, ever really going to result in anything other than us just backing off and getting nothing. So again, there's a lot of times where you kind of just go in without much of a plan, without much of a reason. Like even here, I don't think you kill this guy. Like, yeah, it's pretty useless, right? Like we should think again, how are they going to respond? Well, he's going to polymorph me. He's going to shield himself. The Vex is right next to them because they're just obviously going to be recalling because we just saw them 2 seconds ago. Like, we have enough information where we know there's no way we can kill. Plus, we're a tank, a Mumu. We're not like going to do a million damage. And so with that in mind, we just end up almost even dying and losing, again, a lot more time because you're not farming your red, you're not farming your Krugs. So yeah, we need more of a plan as to like why we're going in. We need to know these spells are gone, or my teammates can follow, or their teammates aren't here, whatever reason. We need more information from scrolling a lot, and we generally need to farm if we got nothing better to do. And then the only time that we actually, again, skip camps is when we can give ourselves a super specific reason. Because being efficient, like 90% of games, the best play is farm camps then gank. 10% of games is when it's better to gank before farming everything. And that's, again, for me, for example, the improvement I made a lot last season was that 10%. But for you, the 90% is what matters because you're not at that level yet where it's important to consistently worry about that. Of course, there's still going to be times where you can worry about it, but it's not your main issue currently. Your main issue is that many times you're skipping stuff too much. You're being too inefficient. Your champion has one of the fastest clear speeds in the game. Even though you're not, a champion who needs a million gold, you are a tank. You still want to be very efficient on such a fast clear speed champion because then you make it very hard for the enemy to obviously get gold from invading you. You're higher level, which means like you hit level 5 first, or you hit like, key levels before them. So you're stronger to fight them in the skirmishes. So you need to kind of abuse your champion's, insane strength in terms of clear speed rather than being so inefficient in a lot of these games. You don't need to be overly worried about stopping your laners from dying or inting. They're going to do that sometimes. As long as we consistently have a good amount of gold, we only go for these ganks when we see a specific reason to. They're probably going to be, overall fine. So that all makes sense? Any questions about anything? Or?
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. Yeah, I think this game in particular, I remember just kind of being in my head a little bit too much and was like more worried about what was happening on the map than
Yeah.
than getting the farm myself, I guess. And I knew this one was a I knew this game. That's why I showed you this game. So I was like, I'm definitely making a lot of mistakes in this one.
Yeah.
And like with the thing with the Lulu before, as soon as I did it, I was like, that was really stupid. And I don't know. I have an issue where like I know something's a bad play and I like can't help myself to do it anyway. And I need to like check myself in those situations.
Well, and again, that's the habit building thing is go into 5 games and the only thing that you tell yourself every time you go into a fight is I need to know why I'm going in. And if I'm not sure about it working, then I won't go. Like if you specifically tell yourself that, then you find, and it might not be 5, it's whatever number, but eventually you'll find yourself asking that without having to consciously think about it. And that's when you're like, okay, this is starting to become a habit. I can go on to the next thing to work on. And that's probably going to be the best way for you to kind of work on that issue. And then in this situation, I definitely rather farm my camps rather than go mid. The reason is my mid laner is dead. I'm not going to be protecting this turret fully. Secondly, Vex is only going to get maybe 1 plate. He doesn't push fast, or she, I don't know the gender of the champion. And then if he does stay mid, he's not resetting before the objective, so he's actually screwing himself if he stays for a long time. And then he won't have proper items, will be stronger at the fight, or he resets late if he stays too long. So we're fine with him staying there and getting a plate. It's just 150 gold. You can get your guaranteed gold. Again, this is 150, that's 150. The blue you might not be able to get in time because the objective, but doesn't matter. And then also other thing that I didn't even think about, I don't think I've seen you click your scoreboard once. You don't know who's strong. I mean, your team is down 5 kills, so you probably only have one person who's decently strong. Since you have 4 kills, someone's gotten those kills. You need to find who that is, and you need to play around them. So if you're, it's got to be your Gwen, because I don't think your dual lane have done shit this game, and your mid laner is dead.
It's Gwen. Yeah, for sure.
So you need to be just hard playing around Gwen. You know, I haven't seen you even look at Gwen, and your bot lane has been doing bad for quite a while. So at this point, you already should have been, again, clearing up and then focusing on the top, playing around top. And your only concern is Gwen for the rest of the game, basically. Instead, again, we're just kind of chasing this guy, and we're chasing him into the other side of the map where we don't necessarily want to be. And we might end up being able to kill him, so it's not like it's like, again, the worst outcome or anything. But we could have gotten that same amount of gold from that kill topside with the 300 gold we could have gotten from our camps. And again, we would have been playing around someone who's a lot stronger. But I think the engage you find here is good. It's not like this is a super bad play. It's totally fine. But you can see it's still pretty messy, pretty much just relying on the fight actually working out, again, with people who aren't as strong. Like your dual lane aren't as strong. It just so happens that it did work out well enough, luckily. But yeah.
Yeah.
And we also
that's actually this is a really good insight actually when you were talking about the Vex needing to reset, on the timer of the objective. Something I gotta pay a little bit more attention to, or just like
That's definitely a thing that I would say I'm more uniquely aware of compared to even like higher elo players, because I play every role a lot. So I'm like thinking a little more from the perspective of everyone compared to most people are very much like most high elo junglers are assassin mains, and they're just like farm, and that's enough. Like a lot of people don't scroll their map. Even like I go watch a lot of high elo streamers, they don't scroll their map very much. They're just perma efficiency, get as much gold as possible. That's all that matters. So you're playing on Mumu, you don't have that luxury. Like your champion does need this information, needs to be making these decisions and whatever. But yeah, no, I mean, it is obviously a useful thing to keep track of, like when they need to reset, because it's a very common strength or like a very common thing to do in lane. If you are playing lanes, the enemy don't reset, you get a reset off, you just fight them to the death because you know you have better items. Or even with jungle, if you see an enemy jungle hasn't reset, or enemy mid, whoever, you can go and fight them if you know, even if they're up a level on you, whatever. If they haven't spent all their gold, it's going to be a lot weaker. And then again, here you see you haven't farmed your topside camps still. So I'm going to go back and see when your topside camps spawned. They spawned at... Okay, so basically all of them were spawned at 5:30, 5:50 for one. But 5:30, they've spawned, and then let's look when you killed them. 5:30, we're at... And if we see something useful, we'll talk about that instead, but... Yeah, then you died of this fight. Not much to talk about there, but and your camps, 5:30, we're 7:30. It's been over 2 minutes. Do you know how long it takes for a small camp and a buff to respawn? Do you know how long they take?
I think it's around 2 minutes, but I'm not
Small
exactly
camps
sure.
are 1 minute and 50 seconds roughly, and buffs are 2:30. That means that you could have had all of your buffs and your camp like respawn. So you would have gotten 450 more gold from them. Not to mention your blue got invaded, right? Because you didn't clear it for so long. So not only could you have gotten 450 additional gold, but you actually could have gotten 600 additional because your blue got taken. And I say 150 for the camps. Sometimes it's 120, sometimes it's 200, depending on point of the game. Conservation gold as well. Are you aware of what conservation gold is?
No, I was just reading about that, but I couldn't get the definition. So
okay, so conservation gold. If we look in the bottom, you see where my cursor is right now, the thing that says 150.
yeah.
So the longer that you don't clear a camp, the higher this number goes. The max is 180. At this point, it was 150. They recently buffed that, so now it's 180. But basically, the longer you clear a camp, the higher that number goes. Whatever number it's at, the next time you clear a camp, you get that much gold just for the fact that you hadn't cleared. So it's basically a thing where if you spend some time ganking and you're not as efficient, you get a little bit back, like for just ganking more. It kind of helps people balance ganking and farming. And so if you ever see this number getting to 150 or now 180, that means you fucking suck. It's to never get that high because you need to always be farming your camps. And so only bad players will generally have it, unless you have like a crazy fight. But so generally speaking, this number should never get this high because it means you're being very inefficient and you're essentially bleeding gold because it's just constantly staying at 150. It doesn't, like bleed over until the next time. So does that make sense?
Yeah, I did not know that. That's helpful.
And then here, everything's fine. I mean, you clear all your camps now at this point, but again, obviously could have done it earlier, as we spoke about. And then because of that, we're obviously behind, but I don't want to value this mid fight. I want to value bot turret as well. So in the mid game, when you don't know specifically what to do, when we're between the 6-minute mark and the 11-minute mark, 11 is when Baron spawns, obviously 6 is when the objective. So when we're in between the objectives, we have nothing to do. Your main goal is get all of the outer turrets. So get all the tier 1 turrets. The side lanes first, the top and the bot, because mid's hardest to take. And then mid usually just take if you win a fight. So make sure you are there because you get local gold for being around the turret. So I want to be there around the Syndra to get that gold to help her push out the wave. So like if I'm looking like here, for example, I want you hovering this in case someone comes, right? Because someone could come. I want you to make sure this Syndra is able to get this turret for free or that she doesn't die, because you have flash, you're tanky, you can CC people, you're not as scared to be here. Syndra is kind of scared to be here alone. So I want your general purpose when camps are not up to be playing around these turrets. Especially when we're behind. Like if we're behind, obviously we're behind a lot more. There's gold bounties on the turret. Are you aware of how gold bounties work?
Yeah.
Okay. So there'd be gold bounties on the turret if we were behind more. My brain's not working. I woke up early and I've coached like you're the third person I've coached today. So, but yeah, either way, playing around that turret would be more useful rather than just going and again doing more fights in mid lane, which doesn't really have any specific purpose. And you had no way of predicting that this would happen. Like again, even though it ends up being kind of an okay outcome because you get some flashes, this wasn't something you could possibly predict. It just so happened that people ended up fighting in mid lane when bot lane was a guaranteed play and getting that guaranteed standing gold off. Now this is where you would now be grouping after you fight because now all the turrets are gone that matter. You can't really get tier 2s unless you win fights. So this would be the time that you would be coming and fighting. You'd be fighting right now after you'd already been bot and pushed that. But instead, you don't have your flat, or you don't have your ult rather. Syndra, I mean, she's trolling. I don't know what she's doing, but again, we'd just be overall stronger and in a better position. And we'd have already gotten that gold, which meant we could have spent that gold and been stronger. And then here also, I mean, this is obviously you can tell that this is a mistake, but you're literally walking up without flash when one of your teammates are dead, one of your teammates are top, and your support's really low. There's no way this would ever logically like make sense. Even if you had ultimate up right now, Xayah would still kill you both. If you just like landed a Q and you don't have Q up. So again, it's just we're not thinking about what we can like what the enemy are gonna respond with. We're just thinking I want to engage on a squishy champion, I guess. But then we realize we can't, and we get punished for it. Do you go Thornmail every game, or do you have a reason to go Thornmail here?
I usually go Thornmail most games, but just because the reflective damage. But
so I don't play a lot of Amumu, but I have a friend who plays a lot of tanks and plays Amumu, and the build he gave me for Amumu was I think it was Searing Crown then. It was Searing Crown then. I'm just gonna look quick. You in a rush for time or no?
No.
Okay.
I got all the...
So I made a video like a long time ago. Talon WR, I think it's just like if I type best champ, like I eventually made I made a lot The best champions of Wild Rift right now. How to play the best champion Wild Rift. I don't know how old it was, but Amumu was like mega broken at a point. And I have a video, and the specific like video gives the general build for him. Not here. It looks like this is when Warwick was broken. If I can't find it in like, I don't know, a minute or two, then I'll stop. But we'll see if we can find it.
Most people start seeing count on him. I switched to I forget what it is, the other bird tank item.
Yeah, no. So that's why. So the reason that this isn't like normally I'd be able to remember the build. The problem I have with remembering these builds is so if you build one of the two burn items and you want to build both burn items. If you build one burn item, then the other one, they don't stack. But if you build the other way around, they do stack because the passive you have of one item's completed item stacks with the burn item, like the 500 gold burn item. And that's why I'm trying to figure out which it is first. So I need to look at what I build here first. Looks like I didn't show the build, so we'll see whenever I go into my items. So I have the armor component, so this must be Searing Crown. So it means that you go Searing Crown, then you go Sunfire, and then after that, then you can go Thornmail, then Twin Guard. Well, you go Twin Guard, then Thornmail, or Thornmail, Twin Guard. If you need MR, you go Twin Guard, Thornmail. Vice versa, you go Thornmail, Twin Guard. And then last item is Psychic Projector. Do you know what Psychic Projector is?
Yeah. I've never really used it, but
it turns HP into AP basically, and it's really useful for a champion who is building a bunch of HP and also has really good AP scaling. So you build it last. You don't have to. You can also just build full tank, but this is again build that. This guy, like when the Amumu was super meta, he was like rank 1 Amumu was very good at it. Build may have changed, I can see, but I wouldn't imagine because no tank items have really changed at all. So obviously, I mean, you're gonna build different situational items. If they're a bunch of crit, you build Randuin's, Frozen Heart. If you need me to speak on specific items, you can ask me at the end, like when we're writing notes, and I can write out different situational items. And I can write out that build if you want as well. But yeah. But basically, like I don't see Thornmail. For example, Randuin's this game should be really good. They have Yasuo and Xayah, and Lulu buffs their attack speed by percentage, which means if you have percentage attack speed reduction items, like Frozen Heart, like you should get Frozen Heart, probably Randuin's this game, and then Twin Guard's your only MR. So if we went for Sunfire first, if we wanted, again, Searing Crown better because a lot of AD anyways. Searing Crown, we go Sunfire second, then we get a Frozen Heart or Randuin's. Then we get the other, then we get Twin Guard, and we're chilling. Because like you're not going to get bursted down by Vex, right? Even though they have an AP champion, she doesn't target you. It doesn't make sense for her to. So you don't actually have to itemize it for magic resist, even though they have a magic damage dealing champion. Because everyone on their team who does damage to you is going to do AD. And then if we look at it, I want to see if you can figure out why. Why would I want to build Frozen Heart third and Randuin's fourth based on this current scoreboard?
I mean, because of Xayah, probably. That's what I would, assume.
Well, Xayah's a crit champion, so.
But you want to slow her attack speed, right? 'Cause she has lethal tempo.
Yeah. So okay. So that's if they had multiple fed crit champions, I would rather do Randuin's because Randuin's is better against crit champions, generally speaking. So Randuin's and Frozen Heart are both really good against Xayah. So it's not about which is better versus her. What I'm looking at is the fact that Yasuo isn't building crit right now. He hasn't yet built crit, and he's also mega useless. Like he's obviously going to build Mortal Reminder eventually with this, but he's 5,800 gold. He's also Conqueror. He doesn't have lethal tempo because he's silly. And so we know like he's not a problem. So even though normally Randuin's would be good in this game because there's 2 crit, there's only 1 actual crit champ because the other one is basically not a champion because of how bad he is. And so because of that, we're building Frozen Heart third instead. That's the reasoning I have. If the Xayah was fed like this, but Yasuo was fed as well, I would do Randuin's third.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, you're not gonna like the build that I went this game, or actually most games. Because I usually get if they have one AB champion, I will go. I don't even know how to pronounce the name of the item, but it's the one that does like a magic shield. It's like Kroken or something like that. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I usually do that third item, so I think I should.
Yeah, no, that's only going to be an item that you would go if they have like 3-4 AP, or all their AP are the champs that are dealing damage to you. And then once again, and yeah, this ADC is actually a pretty good player, but you look for a Q on people you can't kill. Like you're right, like it's good that you missed this. Like hitting this would have killed you. And yeah, I mean they have shield, they have high HP. He has probably ult up. He might have Veil. I don't think you've paid attention enough to know if this guy has Veil or not. And your teammates aren't in a location to help. One's dead, one's bot, and one's recalling, and Braum. So again, a lot of decision making where we just don't have a really specific reason. And I think if you just took a step back and thought about why I need to go in, you wouldn't be doing this. So again, instead of thinking I want to go in when an ADC is caught, think I want to go in when the ADC uses X, Y, or Z spell, flash or root or her ultimate. So you see what she doing just now? She just cleansed. That gives you a little bit more of a reason to go in. But why does this still make no sense? Ult on Lulu, ult on Xayah, click scoreboard, probably has a Veil, might have flash, teammate's low, teammate has no ult, Gwen used her, whatever the thing is, the thing that, so she doesn't have that up anymore. So for all those reasons, we shouldn't go in, and yet we still do, and then I don't think you're going to kill here. I'd be very surprised if you do. Yeah, no. So she might end up dying, but that's because she sucks, so I guess I was lying about complimenting him. But either way, the only reason you win that is because she got greedy and tried to kill you with her ult instead of kiting back with her ult. And if she kited back with her ult, she kills you all. Luckily, it didn't, that didn't happen. But again, we didn't really have any reason to go in. People are low health. The enemy have a bunch of spells up, all those types of things. So.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, your Gwen is popping off, so that's good.
I think I knew the Gwen was pretty fed at that point in time, and I was like, if I can somehow get on top of the Xayah, then maybe the Gwen will kill her. And that's what I guess that's what happened, but I could see why it was.
No, and that's a reasonable line of logic to follow. And as long as we have a reason like that, then I don't mind going in. Again, I disagree with this specific instance because of the spells, but as long as we have a reason for that, that's enough. A lot of these other situations, you didn't really have, or at least I couldn't see the reason for going in. Whereas in that case, yes, you are engaging for your Fed champion. Maybe we don't care a lot about our life in that case. And if you can get them to pop off, that's fine. It's just the difference is there, again, it's very reliant on the enemy making mistakes rather than actually just being an objectively good play, basically. But yeah.
I think part of the reason, so you mentioned that I move forward sometimes I don't have Q up, and it's not necessarily good position for me to be in. And I think maybe part of it is I was thinking that that I'm me being a tank, that I want to be always kind of between my teammates and the enemy team, and kind of position myself to maybe just be kind of threatening in some way. But
I mean, that's true when you're high health, but the problem is you're doing this a lot of times when you're 30-40% HP. Whereas, if we're doing it when we're higher health, we have our gargoyle, we have our ult, we have flash, when we have all these things up, then yes, it's typically the way we should position. But again, you need a reason to position there. So sometimes your goal is to be sneaky and find a big ult on someone. You're not always looking to show yourself. So if your teammates have no way to protect themselves, then sure, you might need to stand in front to tank a skill shot or make sure that they can walk in a specific direction. But oftentimes, they're not going to get engaged on. If we look at this comp, for example, a lot of these people can't just instantly jump and engage on your teammates from super far away. They'd have to be close enough where you're in vision to still go and stun them or whatever, even if you weren't directly in between them. Because Yasuo, he doesn't have that much engage range unless he lands a Q, in which case it's going to be telegraphed. Or did I say Yasuo? I meant Lee Sin. And yeah, pretty much all the other champions, they don't have super high engage range unless Vex lands ultimate, which again, these things are all kind of telegraphed. Does that make sense? Or do you have questions on that?
No, that makes sense.
And then here, 11 minutes onwards, you don't go here ever, unless you know that they can't get Baron for whatever reason. So if the enemy are dead, obviously, but not dead enough that you can get Baron yourself, or if the enemy jungle's dead or the enemy jungle shows side lane, then you can go side lane, opposite side of Baron. But otherwise, we don't go opposite side of Baron. You're, at this point, 2 items at 12.5 minutes, so very inefficient, but we're not getting much stronger than this. We're tank items. Getting a third tank item isn't going to do that much different at this point, and we're not going to get there very fast because of our current pacing. So getting slightly more gold here over giving up Baron, obviously very problematic, and your team is now getting, kind of pressured around the objective, that type of thing. And then, you do lose to Baron, actually. So we pretty much just need to be constantly aware of Baron, basically. Past 11 minutes is the gist of it.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I was thinking at that point that I thought we were so far behind that I didn't think that necessarily fighting a Baron was a good idea, and that just getting more gold on our team was maybe better.
Yeah.
And then also, if I feel like I went there, maybe yes, I just would have pushed into a tier 3. And then
Hmm.
like my thing is like when I was thinking that I was like, here's a scenario: if I go to Baron, they get it, and we all die in the fight, and this Yasuo is gonna be able to push in a tier 3 at the same time. And I
Hmm.
was like thinking that maybe that series of sequence or series of events would be
Yeah, yeah.
could,
And so,
could have
okay,
been pretty
that's good
bad.
that you say this because then I can explain to you why this is our kind of best chance of winning. So first off, we're behind quite a lot of gold in this situation. Like I'm
Yeah.
okay. It's so first of all, when is it that you choose to do this? You choose to cover it. Yasuo shows here, so yeah, you have the information that he's possibly there. So if the real worry is Yasuo, we just saw him go and look to recall, so he's clearly leaving. So the first thing is
Mhm.
Yasuo is not going to do that unless he shows right now. So initially that's the first thing. Second thing is you're losing right now. You're down quite a bit of gold, probably 4 or 5,000. Again, you don't click your scoreboard, so I don't know. But gold bounties aren't up. But gold bounties become up really, really soon after one fight's won, which means another 2,000 gold triggers them. So you should be probably around 4 or 5,000 gold down. Game's generally going
Mhm.
bad. Game is going bad. We need to find something that can turn the game around.
Got it.
Is getting gold on an Amumu going to turn the game around? No, we are a tank Amumu. This never turns the game around. What can turn the game around is finding a numbers advantage fight. And so if you think Yasuo is going to go bot side, well then I can find a 5v4. Not only can I find a 5v4, but I can find a 5v4 around Baron, where if the enemies start Baron, and you're saying you don't want to contest them on Baron, Baron reduces your resistances. So if the enemy are hitting Baron, their lower resistances, it's basically giving you a gold advantage artificially. So if the enemy, like the best time to come back is going to be around a Baron when you're behind most of the time. So when there's no Baron up, you are behind, you don't want to contest random dragons, you don't want to contest in between Barons and dragons, you want to contest only on the Baron as that kind of one timer to come back on. And if you were a carry champion, so Corrupt is a really good jungle player, for example, he plays
Mhm.
like, Nyla, he plays Zed, he plays carry junglers. Sometimes he'll
Mhm.
give up the first Baron in order to get gold bounties on turrets and push. You're playing a Mumu. You can't do that. And again, he only does that when the game looks super unwinnable. He doesn't just do it just because he's down 2k gold or 3k or whatever. So that's why. Does this make sense? Or
Yeah, that
okay.
makes perfect sense. Yeah, I think I actually watched a video where you were I think it was labeled like best strangler in NA, and he
Yeah.
was giving up Baron in that video.
Yeah, because he was playing Nyla, literally the best scaling jungler in the game. So like these types of champs, 100% they sometimes will do that. And that's where sometimes watching those videos, it's hard to like sometimes people then will do these things every game, or they'll see it and they'll be like, oh, I should do that too. But there's more context required, and the fact that he's playing Nyla with a Lulu, that's going to make it a lot easier than doing it with an Amumu, for example. Um, so yeah, I mean, you were probably going to lose regardless. To be clear, like you guys were already down, the game was going bad. It's not like it was likely for you to win at Baron. If you went there,
Mhm.
it's just more likely than being bought.
That makes sense.
And then yeah, I'm assuming this game's basically just over. So
It's pretty much.
and yeah, itemization
Yeah.
is actually screwing you very, very hard. Most of the time, itemization, even if people don't have a super good understanding of it, it's not a big deal. But yours are like quite bad to the point that, like, if you're spamming these items every game, and I mean, you're doing it in the 1 AP champion who's the champion who can't hit you. So this will definitely
Mhm.
just like, I would say your win rate would go up by 1 or 2% just by itemizing properly. Um,
Okay.
and it's rare that I think that happens. Usually I think itemization is almost useless as long as you go the default. But tanks do need to understand a bit better than the average champion, I would say. Um,
Yeah.
but okay, so any questions before we go into the next one?
No,
That's my
no,
video,
I
then,
think
right?
you pretty much covered what I
Okay,
was looking
cool.
for. This one I
Um,
play a little bit better. This is I kind of told you about. This one I make a couple bad mistakes. I have one like really bad on this one that I just like completely whiffed on. I'm playing this with my friend by the way, and we were kind of talking about it. And we're like, we just kind of knew that the enemy was not very good.
yeah.
So we got away with um, a lot of bad plays that we.
Your friend's the Syndra, I'm assuming?
Yeah, yeah.
So here you path, I think, well, I guess I'll have to see who their laners are, but I think this makes sense. Pathing towards Misfortune and Braum, like they're pretty strong early. Yeah, and Gnar is kind of hard to gank, so makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I was watching your one of your videos on kind of the theory before the match of which way you should path, and I always try to make a conscious decision on
Yeah.
what makes the most sense.
And Amumu is one of the few champs who he like if it's pretty 50-50, start blue because you do need your blue pretty bad because of
Mhm.
mana. But you are able to clear
Mhm.
red side still because you can see how low your mana is, and this means like you are kind of a little starved for mana if you fight here. But
Mhm.
but I don't mind still because you still get enough mana from this full clear, as we can see. And you should just be able to contest this guy or get it for free. And so in this situation, what do you want to do after you kill this scuttle?
I was gonna go top.
Why?
Um, I was gonna be trying to get a gank off. That's been my main thinking.
So
Yeah.
first off, we haven't scrolled to have a lot of information. Same thing. I just want to keep pointing this out so we're aware. My
Mhm.
thought process is, okay, I'm a champion with a really fast clear speed. The enemy jungle is being extremely inefficient. I want to abuse his inefficiency. So he's level 3. How
Okay.
many clamps has he cleared right now?
3.
4, because his
Oh,
level's
oh,
higher.
it's a little bit higher. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he said blue side plus his, I don't know what the name is. The one to the right on his red
Yeah.
side.
Yeah, one
Okay.
of them. So
Yeah.
it possibly is 3 because he might have gotten some XP from this gank. If he got XP from this gank, it might be 3 plus the wave, or it's 4. I don't even know. Let me look. You kill 4 can't no. So you're actually right. It is 3, and then he just got some XP. So the fact that it was a little higher, but yeah, he'd be higher because this level from 4, this is your level from 4. So you're actually entirely right. It is 3, and so that's even better for us, anyways. The fact that he's level 3 and he's only done 3 camps means, okay, what does he have? Does he have red or blue? And then we pay attention. If he has red or blue, this is okay. So he's red. So what 3 camps has he done? He's done 3 red side, right? Do you understand the reasoning?
Yeah. Because I blew the vision flower
So you
and
can see
it's
that the blue's up, yeah.
yeah.
And so with this information, he's already a champion who clears much slower than you. With how inefficient
Mhm.
he's being, you can have a million gold compared to him and then become unkillable. So just because you're a Mumu doesn't mean you don't have gold. Like when I was playing a Mumu 7-8 months ago, whenever it was, I'd be carrying a bunch of games while having the most gold, but then I'd understand, okay, I hit 3 items, now I'm fighting. Like I'm not farming to get 5 items and hyper carry like a Nilo Lulu, but I am still trying to make sure I'm efficient because then in a Mumu or a Pantheon can never kill me. You know, an ADC has a really hard time killing me. I can build anti-crit because here they have Yasuo and Pantheon sometimes builds crit and they have a crit ADC. So like you should be building Randuin's second item this game, for example. And then here again, you're kind of chasing a kill that I don't see as super likely to work. I guess it actually does not turn out awful, but he was near under turret and low health. Or not low health, he had flash, I meant. So I would rather have double scuttled right away. Either way, the point is, I wanted you to double scuttle this Pantheon, and then since he showed up, fighting is obviously good. But valuing this topside gank means you're just valuing less efficiency. We want to just recall right away, and you're eventually going to recall. But I imagine if your teammates stayed up there topside, you would have stayed up. And I would have rather, again, you abuse his inefficiency, you go and you start this scuttle right now. Because, okay, let's say when we killed him like 30 seconds ago, let's say he's on scuttle right now. That means that he didn't do all his blue side yet. He doesn't have enough time to do that. And so either he clears his camps up to scuttle, in which case you get it from him, or he clears scuttle first, in which case he's not level 5 and you're level 5 because he wouldn't have cleared his other camps. And so again, abuse his inefficiency, abuse level diffs. Your champion's strongest point early game is level 5. You're a level 5 jungler. And so when you hit level 5, you need to abuse that. Instead, you see what he did? He scuttled. And now where is he? He's on one of these camps, right? We don't know which, but he's on one.
Gotcha.
And so once again, what do you want to do now at this point?
I was gonna farm the rest of my red side.
And then what after that?
I think once I do that and I take the other camp on the blue side, I should have my first item, and I'll back and look for a gank top side.
Okay, so I want you to do something slightly different because of
Okay.
the jungle location. It's very similar. I want you to go red side. I want you to immediately gank top after, and then I want you to go back. And the reason I want you to do this is because you have a limited window to abuse his inefficiency. The fact that he went, you know, again, he went here, he has to be on his blue side camps. Meanwhile, you can clear a lot faster. This means that you'll have a bit of a window to gank before him. That way, again, we can just get the gank off first. Then say he does come and counter gank you, you're stronger than him, you're higher level, whatever, you're gonna just be stronger. And if he doesn't respond, then you just get a free gank off. Then you can go top side, then go clear bot, or then recall, get your item, whatever. I know it was kind of not worded very well, but do you know what I mean by that? Or
No, that makes a lot of sense.
okay.
Yeah, I should just be a little more aware of that.
And yeah,
Not
instead you
even
hover mid.
played.
So you duo with the Syndra a lot. Do you always duo with the Syndra player, or?
Yeah, it's my best friend that I
Okay,
like in real life. But
so
yeah.
this is a champion that you don't gank. Very, very rarely do you gank this. Again, this guy had to be a complete idiot, this Yasuo, in order for this to work. And that's, again, some of your plays are working, and it's just like reliant on people being silly. And I mean, that's just how it works. You know, people are going to make mistakes. It's normal. But
Mhm.
we don't want to play around a Syndra, especially Syndra gets hard countered by Yasuo. It's like one of the worst matchups.
Mhm.
Just let them scale, let them farm, let them do their own thing. If they need help, you know, you go help them. Or if you see a free gank, obviously some situations, yes, you can gank them. But when we see a full health Yasuo with ultimate and everything, and our Syndra's 1 HP down a level, we don't want to do anything. Now, Yasuo literally didn't use his wind wall to stop, you know, the ultimate, for example. Like, he was completely unaware. In which case, he would have just been perfectly fine. So, again, we want to play around our lanes that are more volatile, more easy gank, have better gank setup. In this case, would have been the top lane, for example. And then, yeah, we would have been a bit better. And again, main thing that you actually need to learn from this game is just abuse and efficiency of people who spam gank on champs like Pantheon, Warwick, whatever. If you see them spam gank on level 3 like that, just out clear them, because then eventually they're going to be stuck clearing a camp and you get to level 5 gank, you get to level 6 gank, and they have to do a level 3 gank. But you're going to get that same number of ganks back later after you clear your camps anyway, and you're going to be higher level, both relative to them, like the jungler, and relative to the enemy, because you're going to be clearing really fast and you're a fast clear speed jungler, and you get extra scuttles because you get to double scuttle, whatever. And so obviously a level 5 gank from Amumu is more likely to work than a level 3 gank from Pantheon, because you're going to be level 5 when the laners are level 4 because of your champion's clear speed. So that's why, like, even though you're not getting the gank stop at level 3 and you're going to get pinged for it sometimes because people do that, you're in the long run like going to get just as many ganks and add more valuable timers.
Gotcha.
And this is fine. Like, this is a good thing to look for. Unfortunately, you don't have ult, so it's not as likely to work. But yeah, I don't mind you looking for it. And you honestly should have queued right away. You kind of hesitated because Pantheon shouldn't be here. And then boom. Typically what we see from inefficient Pantheon players is, one, you're up an entire level and you didn't even, like, you weren't even properly efficient and you're still up a level. You'd probably be level 9 to level 7 almost at this point. And we just saw his blue is spawning and he's still here. So the longer he's here, the better it is for us. We don't basically have any camps up apart from Krugs. Meanwhile, he wants to be on the entire opposite side of the map. So fight him. Like, go on him. See, it's so funny because there's so many times I'm telling you, stop going on people. And the one time I want you to go on someone, you don't. And why? Like, okay, look at it. Really, the reason you didn't go, I can't tell you another reason apart from you're a little lower health than him. Like, I imagine you were just like, oh, I'm a little lower, I'm not going to go. I don't see another reason for why we wouldn't go. Our ultimate's almost up. We have flash. Yasuo's getting pushed under his tower, so he can't come. Your teammates are right here. And again, you're a tanky champion who's, like, you're never going to die to him. You know, you're going to win this trade on him. You get all his spells out, and you keep him here when he doesn't want to be here. So again, we need to understand these types of reasons. And yeah, like, look, your Braum knows what he's doing, but since you weren't there, it ends up not working. And now you chase here. Like, this would be too deep now because, you know, but either way, it's not the end of the world. And unfortunately, your teammate dies. I guess that's good. I was gonna say we kind of wanted to hold ult for Samira to ult, but you could kill her, so it's fine to do it. And you end up popping off there. And so, like, even though you didn't really consciously cause this to happen, you can see the reason it happened is because Pantheon was being inefficient and you were up a level. And so these types of things can happen more often when you're way stronger relative to the enemy jungle when they're inefficient. And if you're abusing their inefficiency, you're going to be, like, even better. Again, like, you'll have more gold, you'll have more levels, whatever, and it'll be things like this will happen.
Yeah, I know when that happened, I was like, that triple kill should not have happened. These guys just kind of suck.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was what I was thinking why it happened. I was like, I don't know why this Pantheon went back in.
It's pretty funny.
Like that. And I was
okay.
like,
what should we do after this fight?
Okay. Well, usually I want to go to the other objective if I can get both.
But you need to do something before you do that.
That I'm not sure.
Recall.
Recall, yeah, for sure.
It's not that different to walk here versus recall and walk. Like, it's a really similar time, except you spend 2,500 gold. So you're just going here for no reason, way weaker. So we just need to be better about, like, if, like, the Pantheon's dead too, and he has no ult. Even if he does contest you, if he contests you and you spend 2,600 gold, he's dead. If he contests you and, you know, you spend no gold, well, we're gonna see what happens. You're gonna like probably die. Okay, the Gnar also sucks. So like shout out to everyone for being awful. Because if the Gnar, I think you still die. Probably. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if Gnar was good, that would be even like a much worse situation. So just make sure we're resetting after a play works out. Typically, the main thing we want to do after a play works out is we want to take gold wherever we can. Get camps like from an invade after we kill, or get gold around the map, and then reset. In that case, you had nothing else to take, so reset and then just go, and then we'd be chilling. So
that makes sense. I guess probably what I was thinking in the moment was that Pantheon's dead. I just want to get there as quick as possible.
yeah, no, and that's a reasonable thing. But the reality is, if he contested you, you're happy because he's down 2 levels plus all those items now because you just won the fight. So
got it. That makes sense.
And then again, so as we talked about last time, it's the mid game. What's your goal now?
To get the outer turret or the outer turrets, right?
Exactly. So it's fine that you're skipping this red side right now, for example, to do this real quick. As long as we're not, wasting an hour, but you have Herald even, so you can actually really use this just to like dive. So you just use the Herald, take this, and then go back to our red side after. But this is this is exactly what we want to do. I just want to make sure we understand why this is a good thing. And that we're like, again, consciously thinking about this. Like, I think you could even turret dive here. I think you should just turret dive. Because the Herald's going to kill this, yeah. But, okay, so the problem with your turret dive here is that you didn't hit the turret first. If you hit the turret, then it's going to die, and then you can do this. Because you can 4v4 these guys. Because their strongest person is Gnar. So if you go and fight here... And again, the only reason I know he's strong is because he is higher level. I don't know any other way because you don't click your scoreboard. But, again, now we're fighting by ourselves and 2 people, and you can see you're so OP that it almost works because of how far ahead you are. But if you just pushed that turret first and fought with your team and played around them, the fight is never losing.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we could have just been a bit more aware of that.
That makes sense.
And also your Syndra's strong right now, so playing pretty hard with them as well. Again, I think she's strong. I can't see. Maybe she doesn't know how to farm, but she has a lot of kills, so she should be strong. But, yo, you did it. Nice. So yeah, you guys do have the strongest gold. So. So yeah, like essentially,
I'm really slow at the reading that. Sometimes I just have like, I don't know, boomer reactions when it comes to like trying to pull it up quickly and figure out what I'm looking at.
Well, that's the thing is, if you know what you're looking for, then it's fine. Because all I'm looking at when I pull it up most of the time is how much gold everyone has, and then like, okay, I'm done. Like when I do it when I'm watching back my VODs, I do it and have a second, it pisses me off because it's really hard to actually pause fast enough for me to see it when I'm like looking back. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if you take 2 extra seconds to look at it. It doesn't really change anything. I like that you go for bot wave here, just free gold you should take. Never mind, you just kind of decide to look at Gnar and then walk back. But like, again, the purpose with you going here is just to get some gold from that bot lane wave because you don't have many other camps up or much to do. And then, are you aware of Pantheon abilities and Gnar abilities?
What they do? Yeah.
You know,
well, the Gnar not so much, like a little bit, but not. I know the Pantheon pretty well. I used to play Pantheon when it was like when everybody was a little bit more squishy. It was kind of like a one-shot
Pantheon, and then what you really need to know is Gnar is, how mini and mega works, like when the bar is.
A little bit. Like I know that when he can like throw you against the wall and stun you and do a ton of damage.
Okay, so yeah, basically if he does damage or takes damage, it builds up his white bar. The white bar gets full, it becomes red, and then once he clicks an ability or once a certain amount of time passes, he goes mega, which changes his abilities, and basically abilities will, some of them stun you. You're right, the throwing thing, and then there's another one that stuns you. Basically, he can't stun you until he's mega, and he only does damage to you when he's mini. Decent amount of damage, nothing crazy. And so the reason I point this out, Pantheon stunned. Gnar just used basically all his abilities. He used his slow. He has nothing else. And then we flash. There's nothing to flash. You're flashing nothing. Nobody has spells. They can't damage you. And so like they'll like auto attack you once or twice. It doesn't matter. Other thing is you also had the blast cone. Are you aware of the fact that if someone's standing on the blast cone, that if you use a minion button or tower button, that it hits the blast cone?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So you could have done that. So you weren't like, could have been a bit better. And instead we panic flash. So that's again where the spell tracking thing comes in. If we know specifically what spells they have, specifically how I'm going to respond, I'm not scared when I get flashed. Like, you're a tank, you're very tanky, and you're fed in this case. You have 100% kill participation. So you don't have to be so scared when someone goes on you. You didn't even need to gargoyle. It would have been just perfectly fine. Because also pay attention, like, does he have anti-shield? That's something that's really important, because then we know when to click gargoyle. And that's why clicking scoreboard's important. If Pantheon has anti-shield, which he doesn't seem to, then we don't click gargoyle when he hits us. We click it when Samira or Yasuo hits us or something as well.
Got it. Yeah, I need to pay more attention to that for sure.
And then, okay, teammate died. Now, new thing. Get control around Baron after we get our blue side camps. Don't contest Dragon because teammates are dead. It doesn't make sense to contest. And who's dead is the person bot side, not the people here. So you're going to lose this fight unless they really mess up. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they mess up. I think you should still lose this. Can't really tell. Looks like you might somehow win, which I don't really know how.
Oh, yeah,
yeah, you do win it. So again, outcome-wise is good. When it comes to the decision, you were fighting just like an outnumbered fight in a game where you're already kind of behind, / like even. You're strong and your Syndra strong, everyone else is not. And your fewer just got a kill on the side lane. So that's where your advantage was. And so we want to control around the Baron, and we want to play around that. We don't want to play around, again, a fight where someone's like dead and losing. Pantheon steals, that's normal. The champion is really good at stealing. But then you chase the fight, you could have just hit Baron here. Because again, like a lot of their DPS was gone. Like you could have just bursted the Baron down. You have an extra person. Mumu fucks Barons really hard as well. So yeah, could have just done that. Would have been a little better. It's not awful though, because you are still like stronger. But the problem is you wasted all your time. Now you have 3,000 gold you're sitting on. Pantheon's alive, and we didn't really get anything. And if you do Baron now, like this is really grief. You're sitting on 3,000 gold, and the entire enemy are here. As I said, it removes your resistances, and so you're way weaker. I honestly might have just alt flashed in at that point, just because I was like, I'll just stun 3 people and then die. But I don't mind. I guess you actually had the ability to live at least, so the flash is fine. But yeah, the main issue is that you didn't commit to the play fast enough. You ended up wasting a bunch of time, so now your advantage of Pantheon being dead didn't exist, and you hadn't spent your gold, so.
Yeah, that's very inefficient.
And then, okay.
Yeah, I'm really glad that I used this video to do the coaching session, because I knew there was like something wrong with what I was doing there, but I wasn't exactly sure what it was. You know what I mean? I was like, I just like, I feel like I'm completely making a mistake during this whole sequence, and I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's hard to tell, especially when an outcome is good. Like you're carrying this game, even though we're pointing out mistakes and mistakes, you're making less mistakes than the enemy, and so you're winning. And that's the reality. It's sometimes really hard to find specific problems because most people make so many mistakes we don't get punished for half of them. Here as well, I would push out bot or top. I don't care about chasing a fight when the enemy have Baron. I'm trying to stop my turrets from dying. So you should just be clearing your bot side wave there right now, not like worrying about your camps and your farm. You're just trying to prevent turrets from dying. And again, the enemy, they're not pressuring properly. They're just all grouping med too. So it doesn't matter. We don't get punished for it. We don't lose turrets. But we should have lost bot turret already, for example. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've been putting a lot of like after Baron spawn, putting a lot of focus on making sure that I get blue buff for my team. Especially as a move, I kind of need it in a lot of fights, because the worst is like trying to
getting buff is fine. The thing is, you could have just pushed the side lane wave and then just gotten your buff right after anyway. Like it would have taken you 5 seconds. You wouldn't have not gotten the buff. You just push a wave, then you go and get your buff. It's just more the order of operations than the fact that you don't want your buff. Like getting your buff is generally good when you have Baron buff, or really any time. I mean, you're right. Your champion does need it quite badly. So
that makes sense. And what I found out, I think through like some of the games recently, is after that also just kind of controlling and camping the enemy blue buff, depending on what champions they have, has been kind of successful for me recently.
Yeah. And this is, again, you saw Pantheon come in. There's no reason to not wait until his ult lands before you ult. It's just kind of a panic thing again. Like, there's nothing that you were actually stopping from happening with this ult. And again, it's just like the patience thing and the spell tracking, that type of stuff. But once again, it's more just we're just going in, we're clicking all our buttons as Amumu, and Amumu is one of the best champions in the game to just go in and click our buttons, because he is a very simple champion. Like it's generally like there's a guy who was like new to League of Legends, or not new, but he was pretty new. He was like a streamer who was like known for being stuck in iron or whatever, and then he got coached from like pros in League, and he got plat really quickly, and plat's a lot harder to get in regular League. And he did it from one tricking Amumu, and like that was one of the main tips. It's just like play this champion, everything's a lot simpler. But yeah, I mean, just I'm not insulting you. I like insulting people, so I don't mind. But either way,
it's all good. Yeah,
but that's funny.
I was really mad, because I think that if he would have just not ran away, then I would have killed both of them.
Are you aware that he can't read this?
That's why I typed. My friend pointed that out, and I typed. That's why.
I wanted to know if you knew you were in party.
Yeah,
that was...
yeah. I figured that out,
Hmm.
and then I turn it on, and touch it again.
Also, you're building Canic Rockern. What is their AP? You're building Canic Rockern into a full AD comp, by the way.
Oh geez.
I
Nice.
mean, Nautilus technically does AP, but he's a tank. He doesn't really do a lot of AP. So they maybe have 5 or 10% AP damage and 95%, 90% ADs. So again, definitely need a lot more thought into our build overall. And
Wait,
you can
did I switch it? Because I think
well,
I
either way,
changed it.
yeah,
One.
you're going Twin Guard, so you are going Twin Guard.
Yeah,
Still
yeah,
useless because
Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I think I realized it, and I was like, "What the heck am I doing?" I think I looked at it, and I was like, "This is a full AD camp," and I was, because I just have my build set to where I
Yeah,
normally go, and I was like, "That do not need to be built map this game." And yeah, that makes sense for
and
Twin Guard.
regardless, you do have the component, like you have Thornmail, or you have the magic resist component because you have Twin Guard, and so Twin Guard again still gives armor as well, but it gives magic resist, and so we'd rather have a full armor item. And then instead of going on the Baron, you're getting your red buff, bro. Like the Baron's 7k HP. This is game losing or game winning. Red buff's not going to change that. And then you're valuing your red buff. You're not even looking at this. Like your map isn't even. And then yeah, you skip it eventually, but you would have won the game here instantly. Like you would have team wiped them and just won the game. But yeah, again, lack of awareness, and this is like a thing. People kind of have an obsession over getting these buffs when they could be doing something really valuable with their time. 95% of the time, yeah, get your buffs first before doing stuff. But when there's a Baron, that's could win the game, or you have the chance, you already have Baron, and you're pushing, down their inhibs, and only 2 of them are alive or whatever. Like, it doesn't realistically matter. Like, is an auto attack slow and a bit of a burn really gonna ever change the outcome? Like, it's probably 1 in 1,000 that happens. So.
Gotcha.
I mean, again, we kind of want to reset after Baron because you have your item, you're not resetting, so then you're just going and fighting. Your Fiora is not here as well, so you're kind of wasting all your cooldowns, like your ultimate, before you actually get the siege off, and then you're really low. So the siege is problematic. And again, luckily your Fiora is pushing with bot or with Baron, so like it's gonna still be outcome-wise fine. But and you're going okay. What item even is that? I don't know. Warmogs or something?
I think. Yeah, I think I was just I knew the game was pretty much over. I was like, let me just get some more HP because.
No, Warmogs is fine.
Yeah.
Okay, this you almost lost it. This is kind of a clutch ass steal though. But
Oh yeah, because I flash in. Yeah, for sure.
That was actually like pretty clutch. So I think you would have won anyway because you have the lane swishing. But yeah. Okay, so we'll write out notes then before we end. You see my screen for the notes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll kind of have to go back again. Remind me, or like if I write something and it doesn't make sense, just interrupt me and tell me to reword it. So because obviously the notes are meant to help you. It doesn't matter if they make sense in my head, if they don't make sense in your head. If you remember things we talked about, just mention them. We'll start with the early game. The first thing is just a control word thing. Small. This is like the smallest mistake. Doesn't matter too much. The big thing is scroll lanes. Right, like scroll 2 lanes. Yeah. Getting that extra information, making better decisions based on that. Then generally full clear, then scuttle. I honestly don't remember. I'm low-key blending together. I don't remember if it's you or a different guy I was coaching that you don't 6 camp and then scuttle, but either way, 6 camp and then scuttle. Good to know. Regardless.
The only time I 5 camp and scuttle is when I blow the vision ward. I don't even know what it's called. And then they're going to contest, and because the game, almost like I would say 95% of the games that I play, that they are skipping camps and taking that scuttle to get it first. And
no,
I would
agree
like
with you because your champion is a level 4 champion. So since you can get level, and what I mean by that is that you can get level 4 around scuttle spawn. So since you can get level 4 around scuttle spawn because you have a fast clear, you do that because a lot of times you're going to be level 4 to level 3 and then you win it. If you're a level 3 champ, like a champ that gets level 3 around that time, then just commit to the full clear, because what you would do is if you know they contest, you recall after getting the 6 camps and you go other side, and then you're fine. And you get, if he contests you, then you got like an item, you got a sheen, or you got damage boots or whatever. But as a Mumu, I agree with you. That is a correct thing to do.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because if I know they're not contesting, then I definitely will 6 camp and then go scuttle.
Yeah, for sure. And then spell tracking, just generally in fights, make sure you're like, okay, they have this spell, so I can't go in. I need to wait for a certain thing. Then farm camps, before ganking, unless you can give, I can't type, unless you can give a specific reason for why you are skipping, basically. Like if you have a reason for why you're going to skip something, then you can do that. And the reason can be no flash, jungle location, of the enemy is not nearby. My teammates are way stronger. My teammates are building up a wave to crash. There's a number of reasons that are valid, but if you don't have one of those, then don't skip camps. And again, a lot of times you didn't have them, or I didn't agree with your reasons. And so we got to work on that and generally value the efficiency over other things, which again, kind of like within the Pantheon game, abuse enemies who gank a lot early by farming harder, not by ganking more. Ganking more. And then the reason for this is because you get ganks later, win stronger when you're level 5, when you have better item spots, stuff like that. Next thing, trying to think of what else. Early game, I think these are a majority of the points. Just in general, kind of the same thing, but ask yourself where your teammates are and why you are engaging before going in. So again, think about what the enemy are going to do, why you actually want to go in, what purpose it serves, that type of thing. Then value first Baron over second drag. And then same basic thing, value first Baron over opposite side camps. So like that time you farmed your red side, kind of talked about that point. Yeah, other things. Trying to think. Do you remember anything else we've talked? I know I want to mention the build for you eventually. Anything else apart from that? There's definitely more things, but I'm just trying to.
Yeah. No, I think it's pretty good. I guess the other question is, even if you don't use this or whatever, can I get it? Is there a way that I can access the video of the coaching afterwards?
Yeah, I'll upload it, I think. So it'll probably be it might be a day or two. But or maybe 3 days. I don't know if that's all right. It'd be within a couple days.
Yeah, whatever. It's all good. I just want to be able to look back on it.
Yeah, and you can remind me if I forget, because I'm forgetful sometimes. Yeah, we'll write the build out, and then if you remember other things we talked about. So generally, crown. That's what it's called, right? It's called Searing Crown. So I'm not talking about the AP crown item. Defensive boots. Sunfire. Gunfire, okay. Sunfire, Thornmail, Twin Guard. And again, these are obviously situational. And then Projector. And then we'll just write some situational items. So situational items into lots of AP. You can go Canic, Rockern. Dude, autocorrect pisses me off because it doesn't, like, these aren't words, like they're not actual words. So it thinks I'm saying other things, even though they're actually, because I guess it's because I don't capitalize them, so it doesn't know they're proper nouns, but that's my fault, but I'm still not going to do it. Either way, Canic Rockern into auto attackers who are not crits, don't crit. Go Frozen Heart, and I know you kind of know these things, but I still want to write them down just so we know which specific things to really be thinking about, because right now you're kind of like in a position where you're like, oh, I don't know what to go. I'm just going to rush to get something, which it makes sense. I don't want you spending 80 hours in base. So they would, like, for example, buying that Warmog's there. You're like, that's good enough. That's fine. I'd rather you do that than you waste a million hours in base.
Yeah, for sure.
But if we have these things written down, we know, okay, if we're in this situation. And also think about your build before the game. So think about your build at the
But
same
you mean
time,
like in lobby when I see who my opponents are? At the
same time you think about pathing. Like, at the start of the game, when you're asking yourself about pathing, as you do, because you do correctly do that, also ask yourself about the build. That's something I don't do that well, like, frankly, but it's
actually, this is actually kind of a question that regarding builds. So when I'm thinking about that, and I'm building my third item, and maybe I'm fighting like a Kale or something like that, and they're not strong yet, do I want to go like maybe like a frozen heart or something like that to slow down the attack speed, like just in preparation for
Yeah, no,
when they're going to be
build
strong?
based on who's actually fed. So that kind of like reminded me as you were asking. No, build who's on actually based on who's actually fed. So maybe you plan third item Canic Rockrun because they have 2 AP. Then it turns out they're 2 AP or they're 2 people who are 0 and 3, and all their fed people are the AD champs. Now you're not worried about it. I don't care if that Veigar is going to eventually scale. That's fucking 20-minute game problem. You know, if the game goes 20, now that's a problem. But if a game doesn't go 20 minutes, then that kill's not an issue because he's behind or he's not very strong. So if you see everyone on enemy team is 8k gold, including Kale, then yes, he's gonna scale really quickly. But if he's 7k relative to everyone who's 9k, we don't care that much. We're not itemizing super hard against him. Now, obviously, like within reasonable, things. So even though if they have 2 AP champions, you probably still need like a twin guard to give you some MR. You're not gonna just build 0. But if they're not the fed people, you're not gonna build Canic Rockern or that type of thing. So,
Yeah,
make sense?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Then like another 30 seconds thinking, and then if I can't think of anything else, we'll be done. Yeah, my brain does not work very well right now.
It's all good.
Yeah, no, I think we'll just end this for now. You're always free to DM me with questions at any
Sure.
point, and yeah, you can ask me. I'll try to remember to tell you when the build or when the video is uploaded, and I will see you later. Good luck.
Actually, one question before we go.
Go
Is there an order of like the link that you listed the notes? Is there an order of are they in order of like importance? What you think is the most important thing that I work on
No,
first, or
we can do that real quick. We'll talk about that.
yeah.
So I'll just order them quickly. So top things to improve on, to work on, and I'm just gonna
Because
list
you
the
said like
note.
the focus on 1 or 2 things at a time.
Yeah. So if we look at it, 5 I think is the most important. So this is the order, like the next what I'm writing now. So 5, like farming your camps before ganking unless you have a specific reason. So I want you to focus on that specific reason, and then similarly is like scrolling the lanes, right? That those kind of go hand in hand for the most part. Then the engage thing. So 7, like ask yourself where your teammates are, why you're engaging, being smarter about our engages. And then all of the rest of these things are kind of like 11, I can't, this is hard to type, I'm dumb. Either 7, so 11 and 1 are things to remind yourself of at the beginning of the game. So you can work on these simultaneously because this happens at the start of the game. Then you work on 5, and then like again 5. What is this? Is the farming stuff. This is an early game thing. 2 is more also early game. I would say you could do these 2 things at the same time, I think. And then 7 is later on in the game when you're in fights. So I think these 3 you go on initially, and then these you ask yourself at the beginning of the game. And then the other things you just like the rest are pretty similar value where just find 1 or 2 points after you've worked on these.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Then I'll send you these, and now goodbye and good luck.
Yeah, thanks. All right.